Okay, so I emailed John Riggs after he had some trouble getting a board to work. You know, he tried all kinds of stuff and couldn't get the game to start correctly. So I have some thoughts. I don't think it's the board. You know, he showed it on his channel. Pretty good, and you know, he ended up adding some solder to one of the pads here. It's kind of like, I mean, he may have wicked it off, but anyway, the game ended up, you know, the board ended up being bad. And I think it's probably one of these logic chips which I bought to replace it, because the board doesn't really look all that bad. You know, there's nothing. There's a couple sketchy places about it, but kind of doesn't look bad. So I bought the some SRAM chips to see if I can get a better result than him, and if not, then you know, it would be a fun experiment maybe. Okay, so I got my soldering iron going, and trying to find my solder. There it is. Trying to find my solder wick. That's the solder. So, first things first, see, there's a couple holes that are not completely empty. I have to do the whole add some to remove some trick. So what goes here typically is a, well, in this particular board it's almost always a SRAM chip, and the SRAM chips are a particular type of static RAM, and thankfully there is a local supplier called Jameco that carries these static RAM chips. So, you know, just acquiring them is not all that hard, surprisingly. You know, for some that came out in 1986. That one's clear. That one's not quite clear. Maybe I can. That sucks. I'll have to come back to that one. Also, my last stream ended with my camera stopping functioning, and I don't really know what's up with that, but what ended up happening is I realized that I'm an idiot, and so whenever you have an EverDrive or something, which I've ordered one. Maybe this is a little bit of a spoiler alert, but whenever you have a EverDrive or something and you tell it, oh, please boot the Sega CD BIOS image, please, it actually has to move stuff to special places in memory and do some special stuff in order to actually boot the BIOS that way. I didn't know that, so it's actually booting the BIOS fine, it's just the code's crashing. So my big huge mess of ugly ass wires just somewhere, completely unnecessary because it wasn't going to work to begin with. So a huge waste of time. So much so that the camera decided that it was no longer going to operate because it overheated. And if you've never heard of a camera overheating, well, apparently you can overheat a camera. So that's what happened. And I also since then have learned how to do wire wrapping, and holy crap, I was doing that in like the worst way possible. I could have easily soldered all those wires in no time if I were to wire wrap them instead, because they just wrap around and there's no of that, get the wire and the pin to touch each other just the right time and just the right temperature so they melt, and wouldn't have had to mess with that. Wouldn't have had to mess with that at all. God, that sucks. I'm going to go with not a pin on that one. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess that's on the ground. Both of those, well, all of these that won't clear are on the ground plane. So I can't get enough thermal mass in there in order to get the joint to melt properly. So let's crank the temperature up, which is how we break things. I might add. I did this in the wrong order. Okay. Some fresh wick. Sorry. Swig of beer. Okay. That was scary. Got it. Hooray. Nope, wrong button. Right button. So when John took this chip out to try it in the other board to basically, rule out, is it the board, is it the game, what is it the chip, whatever. So I think he ended up just moving it to a donor board because it didn't work. Which is that a chip issue? I can't remember. He couldn't remember either, so whatever. To remove a chip, you need a certain amount of solder on your iron, or on the chip too, right? You don't have to have it be completely clear, but in this case, I basically need the holes to be completely empty, or else I can't stick the chip in, and that's no good. Okay. Let's go back to our old trusty, put more on it, take some more off. This time the temperature's up way high. Good. This is not a temperature you would normally want to be soldering out, because that's how you break things. Got it? And the fact there's this ground plane here makes this really hard. Like, kind of unpleasant, really. Gosh. That's a nope. Okay, maybe I can get it from this side. Nope. This first one I might be able to. Hmm. Yeah, that's gonna help a lot. Now, that's got a nice big blob. Gosh, I wish I could. I can't believe this is taking so long. I want to get to the fun stuff. Okay, well, that's clearly not working. So let's fill them back up, and then I bought a tool, also from Jameco. And we will see how good it works. It is a desoldering pump like I bought before, except it has a soldering iron on the other end. Yep, hitting up, heating up. Oh damn, that was hot. Don't do that. This thing's kind of ham-fisted. I mean, like, quite literally. You have to put it in your fist and... Oh god, it smells like China. Oh. There's smoke coming off, but it is not currently hot enough to melt just solder. The top, the part that shouldn't be hot enough to melt solder is. Tip though. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I should be able to just set that right on top. It's Primed already. I'll be damned. That worked pretty goddamn well. Yep, burns a hole in the desk. Oh, this is one that's attached to the ground planes. Maybe that has something to do with it. Yay! That hole cleared. Yay! And then, what about that one? Eh. The website says you could also use this as a soldering iron, and if you're doing that, you're fucking crazy. Hooray! Now I can unplug this fire hazard. Shove it where the other fire hazard should be living. So I wouldn't say it's worth $12. My bad. Okay, so now that that's out, it's chippa time. Where did I put the tweezers? Can't do it without tweezers. Need some tweezers. You over here? Nope. It's a lighter. I literally had like moved it slightly, like over here or something, and it is currently not. Is it over here? Ah, found them. Okay, so I've never had them shipped this way. They're almost always rubber bands, so this is kind of cool, but also kind of goofy. So you have to pull this little rubber thing out, and then out comes a static RAM. Then you put the rubber thing back in, but this time with the grab handle on the outside, so you don't have to hunt for tweezers. This should be more convenient. Do I need to bend the chip? Oh, a little bit. Okay, so I don't know why, but from the factory, the pins are. See, the pins are like a little angled, a little bit. I don't know why they do that, because you ultimately have to bend them in to be straight, like 99% of the time. Okay, so there is a little key here, right there, that lets me know which way it needs to go. But besides that, that dot there is the same thing as that chunk there, and I know that the chunk out of the chips go the same direction on this board. And even if that didn't work, the text is upside down, the text is upside down. So, really no way to screw this up. You stick the static RAM in, and you be really gentle, and you poke it in, you make sure, like you look at it, like, oh hey look, I didn't get any of them wrong. You turn the soldering iron down because, you know, don't need it on burning everybody temperature. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so it's got a new static RAM chip, fresh from the factory. You grab your soldering iron, and you always pin the opposite corners first. And you do that because, well, first you pin a corner, and then you pin opposite corner, the other opposite corner. And you do that because you just want to make sure that it's in there correctly. Yeah, I got that pushed in really well. Maybe do a better job. Yeah, clean it up a little like I just did. And then we're going to go do the opposite corner. And remember, we're getting this SRAM in because it was taken out, but the board is still supposedly dead. The thing is we're not sure if the board is dead or if it's a different board, because you know, one of the boards was like all the chips got taken out of it, and so what was left was, you know, basically dead. Then another board was used as a donor, and I think it might have been this one. I don't know. We were pretty sure that this is the correct board. And that the problem was the SRAM chip. And yeah, this maybe used to be the Mega Man board. Although, if that's the case, then I think I may have found the problem. Like, it might not be the chip at all. It may very well be the board, and I think I see the problem with it if that's the case. It's right over here. It looks like the solder mask is kind of ruined. In which case we need to run a pin, or run a cable, run a wire. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, now we look at every pin, make sure that we did a decent enough job. Ouch! We flip it over, we look for any bridges, any terrible looking joints, yada yada yada. I like to also get off the excess solder from the side, or from the top side. Okay, looks like I got every pin. Yeah, looks like I got every pin. The other iron's still hot, but not like I was just able to touch it. So, okay, now I have a static RAM in it. I should be able to. It looks like dog shit. Let me clean it up first, because this is embarrassing. Oh no. that one doesn't have enough solder. No. Well, now we see if it works. It works perfectly. So, I guess the problem was the static RAM chip. Well, that's cool. That was easy to fix. So, I am gonna see. So I've got a whole buttload of 1 megabit. I think they're 1 megabit. 2 megabit ROMs right here, and I've had them since, like, I don't know. It doesn't say on my DigiKey order here, but I've had them for 10 years now. And so I think I'm going to try to see if I can make a dual cart game, or a dual game cart rather. You know, so it's DuckTales 1 and 2 or what have you. And, you know, 2 games, 1 chip. Take out Top Gun, as much as I like Top Gun. It's my very first Nintendo game. As much as I love that game, man, I've never had DuckTales. It'd be cool to have a DuckTales 1 and 2. So, I guess that's what's next. And then, of course, you know, actually just wire wrapping it again along the pins, and not, you know, doing it the hard way, like an idiot. Also, like an idiot, I bought replacement 74XX logic chips for this, because I thought that would almost certainly be the problem. So I have way more of these than I want, because I can only buy these in 10 at a time. And the other ones too. So maybe I'll see what I'm going to do with this, and then go from there. But anyway, I don't think anybody tuned in, so hopefully, if you're watching this, you know, not live, that this was useful. I'm certainly excited that the only problem with this board seemed to be that it was missing a static RAM chip. Pretty easy to fix once you know, finish cleaning up the desoldering job. I guess next steps would be to figure out what I'm going to do with it. So, anyway, thanks.